What happens when we die? It's a question that has haunted, inspired, and mystified humanity since the beginning of time. Perhaps you found yourself pondering this universal mystery, wondering if death is truly the end, or if it's something far more profound. We're not here to offer definitive answers. After all, how could anyone? But what we can do is explore the possibilities, journeys that weave together science, spirituality, and philosophy to unravel the threads of this eternal question. For many, the thought of death stirs fear and uncertainty. It's the unknown, the final frontier we must all face. Yet what if we could reframe this? What if death wasn't an ending, but a transformation? A natural, even beautiful transition that is as integral to existence as life itself. In this video, we'll uncover the scientific processes that unfold after we take our last breath, the energy transformations that hint at something deeper, and the cultural and spiritual traditions that view death as a continuation rather than a conclusion. We'll journey through near-death experiences and mystical insights that challenge the limits of what we think we know. By the end, you'll walk away with a fresh perspective, one that doesn't fear the mystery of death but embraces it with wonder. And if you're as curious as we are about exploring life's biggest questions, be sure to subscribe and join us on this journey of discovery. To understand death, we must first explore the science behind what happens to the physical body. When the heart stops beating and the breath ceases, the body begins its transformation. In cases of traditional burial, microorganisms in our gut, part of the microbiome that supported us throughout life, play a vital role, breaking down tissues and releasing nutrients back into the environment. This process nourishes the soil and sustains life. However, in modern practices such as cremation or coffin burial, this natural return is often interrupted. Instead, cremation releases the body's stored energy into the atmosphere as heat and gases, while burials in sealed coffins slow decomposition dramatically. But whether through the earth, air, or other pathways, the underlying principle remains. The energy contained in our physical form doesn't disappear. According to the law of conservation of energy, it transforms. Heat, chemical, and electrical energy disperses into the environment, joining the larger web of existence. This scientific truth invites us to consider: is death simply a physical ending, or could it be part of a broader, universal cycle of energy exchange? Beyond the physical, there's the profound question of consciousness. The AWARE study, Awareness During Resuscitation, conducted one of the most comprehensive investigations into near-death experiences. Over 2,000 patients from 15 hospitals who had experienced cardiac arrest were studied, and 40% of survivors reported some level of awareness during clinical death. Remarkably, one patient described verifiable events in vivid detail that occurred during a period when their brain activity had ceased, an observation confirmed by medical staff. Adding to the mystery, researchers have documented sudden surges in brain activity just before death, characterized by gamma waves, the very brain signals linked to heightened perception and awareness. These findings challenge the traditional view that consciousness ceases entirely with the brain's shutdown. Could these glimpses point to a deeper, more persistent aspect of human awareness? Science may not provide all the answers, but it illuminates the fascinating transitions that occur at life's end. It urges us to ask, is death merely the closing of a chapter or the opening of a doorway to something far greater? Death is one of the few experiences shared by all living beings, yet its meaning varies dramatically across cultures and spiritual traditions. Throughout history, humanity has sought to understand death not as an end, but as a transition, a continuation of the soul, energy, or essence into another form. In Buddhism, death is seen as a doorway to samsara, the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. This cycle is governed by karma, the accumulation of actions and their consequences across lifetimes. The ultimate goal is to break free from this cycle by achieving nirvana, a state of liberation from suffering and attachment. In this view, death is not to be feared but understood as a natural step towards spiritual growth. Taoism offers another lens, emphasizing harmony with the Tao, the universal flow of energy. In Taoist philosophy, death is not an end but a return to the source, much like a river rejoining the ocean. This perspective invites us to embrace death as a transition into unity with the greater whole, aligning ourselves with the rhythms of nature. In Mexico, the Dia de los Muertos celebration exemplifies a unique approach to death. Rather than mourning, this festival honors deceased loved ones with joy, seeing death as a continuation of the relationship between the living and the dead. Altars adorned with offerings, vibrant marigolds, and personal mementos reflect the belief that the dead remain spiritually present, enriching the lives of the living. Other traditions echo similar themes. Christianity and Islam describe an afterlife shaped by divine judgment, offering the promise of eternal union with God or continued spiritual existence. Indigenous beliefs, like those of many Native American tribes, view death as a passage to the spirit world, where the essence of the individual merges with ancestral realms. Even secular humanists, while not embracing spiritual afterlives, often emphasize the legacy we leave behind, our influence on others and the world as a testament to the continuation of our essence. Despite their differences, these traditions share a profound commonality. They view death as part of something greater, whether it's a cycle, a journey, or a reunion. Each invites us to reflect on our own beliefs. What resonates with you? Do you see death as a transition, a transformation, or something else entirely? Near-death experiences and mystical insights. For centuries, people who have come close to death have returned with stories that defy conventional understanding. These near-death experiences, or NDEs, often follow a strikingly similar pattern: a sensation of leaving the body, traveling through a tunnel of light, encountering deceased loved ones, and feeling an overwhelming sense of peace and unity. Modern science has begun to explore these phenomena, and the findings are as intriguing as the experiences themselves. The AWARE study, which we touched on earlier, uncovered cases where individuals reported vivid, detailed memories of events during clinical death, moments when their brains showed no measurable activity. These accounts include descriptions of doctors' actions, the sounds of medical equipment, and even conversations that were later confirmed by hospital staff. But science is only beginning to scratch the surface. Some researchers suggest that NDEs may be connected to a surge of brain activity triggered by the dying process. This activity, characterized by gamma waves, mirrors the patterns seen in heightened states of consciousness, such as deep meditation or lucid dreaming. Others point to DMT, a naturally occurring compound in the brain often referred to as the spirit molecule, which may play a role in these profound experiences. DMT is known for inducing vivid, otherworldly states of consciousness, often described as journeys into alternate realms or encounters with sentient beings. Interestingly, many of these experiences bear a striking resemblance to NDEs, raising questions about whether the mind is tapping into something beyond the physical plane. Could these shared elements point to a deeper connection between our consciousness and the universe itself? Beyond the scientific explanations, there's the undeniable emotional and spiritual impact of these experiences. Those who return often describe a profound shift in perspective, a loss of fear surrounding death, a greater appreciation for life, and a sense of interconnectedness with all things. Perhaps the most compelling question is this: do these experiences reveal something true about what lies beyond, or are they reflections of the brain's final moments? While the answers remain elusive, they leave us with a sense of awe and wonder, a reminder of the mystery that lies at the threshold between life and death. Philosophical and existential reflections. Death has always been a profound philosophical question, challenging us to confront the nature of existence and the meaning of life. For some, it represents an end. For others, it's a doorway to the infinite. What unites all perspectives is the realization that death, in its inevitability, shapes how we live. Existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Martin Heidegger saw death as central to the human condition. Heidegger coined the term being toward death to describe the way awareness of mortality gives life its urgency and meaning. In his view, living authentically means embracing our finite nature and making choices that align with our deepest truths. Sartre, on the other hand, emphasized the freedom that comes from confronting death's absurdity. If life's meaning is not predetermined, then we are free and responsible to create it ourselves. In ancient Rome, the Stoics practiced memento mori, a reflection on death as a means of appreciating life's fleeting beauty. For them, death was neither to be feared nor ignored, but accepted as part of the natural order. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This practice reminds us to live fully, prioritizing what truly matters. Schopenhauer approached death from a metaphysical perspective, viewing it as a return to the universal essence. He believed that individual life is but a temporary manifestation of a greater eternal reality. In death, the self dissolves back into the infinite, much like a wave returning to the ocean. These reflections offer not just insights into death, but a roadmap for living. If death is a constant, then every moment we have is a gift, a chance to live authentically, love deeply, and contribute meaningfully. So ask yourself, how does your awareness of death shape the way you live? If you knew tomorrow was your last, what would you do differently today? These questions are not meant to provoke fear, but to awaken a deeper sense of purpose and gratitude. Death is not an end. It is a mystery that reaches beyond the limits of our understanding, whispering of cycles, transformations, and continuations. What if we allowed ourselves to marvel at its infinite possibilities, to see it not as a void but as a doorway, a passage into realms both known and unknown? Throughout our journey today, we've glimpsed the profound ways science, spirituality, and philosophy weave together to illuminate the nature of death. But for all the insights and stories we've explored, the beauty of this mystery remains. Death doesn't just shape how we leave this world, it transforms how we live within it. Imagine consciousness itself, boundless, resilient, perhaps continuing in ways we can scarcely imagine. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What does death mean to you? Do you see it as an end, a transformation, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We're eager to explore your perspectives. If this journey inspired you, consider subscribing and joining our growing community of seekers. Together, we'll continue unraveling life's greatest mysteries. And as we ponder what lies beyond death, another question arises: where does life itself truly begin? To dive into this equally profound mystery, be sure to watch our video exploring the origins of life. It's a journey you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching and being here with us. Until next time, stay curious, and may you find beauty in every mystery.